And earlier this year, I funded a misguided Kickstarter attempt to buy the Palmer House in Everett when it went up for sale. Yeah, that's my fault. That's my fault. That's my bad. And I am beyond honored and privileged to welcome three, I guess, residents of Twin Peaks here today. Sheryl Lee and Sherilyn Fenn. We have Audrey Horn, Laura Palmer, and all the way from Missoula, Maddie Ferguson as well. So I am certainly not going to monopolize this conversation. However, I'll get the ball rolling. Obviously, there are things to talk about currently, and we've got you at the perfect time. So yeah, if we can just kind of get a personal update on hashtag Save Twin Peaks. It looks like the gum we like is coming back in style.
What gum is it? Does anyone know?
I don't know if it's ever specified.
I thought it was
Blackjack?
Beeman's. Yeah. Because I like Beeman's. Give it to her. Now it's Beeman's. And then you all, it's amazing. I mean, it's amazing. I became a social media whore, shamelessly self-promoting the show. Sick of hearing myself, but we live in a world that Tripped originally. He met me for 15 minutes, and a week later they called me and said I had a role. So who can meet you for 15 minutes and then know where you belong? And then my brothers go, oh, that's just like you, you're a brat, and, you know. So I'm just grateful. I'm so happy we're back on. And 18 episodes now, even.
Oh, really?
We're pretty sure that's what happened with the hiccup, was that David said that he saw, Twin Peaks, but like all these, like the universe, and the strings just go all over the place, even in the world. It's not just Twin Peaks. And I think when he did the 9, he realized he needed 9 more to really complete it. So, I'm just throwing a price, I don't know, but they're like, oh, Showtime, it's 40, oh no, it's 80, and everyone went, wow, so, but we're back on track.
Yeah. So actually, I'm just going to open it up before I let y'all start asking questions, because I know you probably have a bunch, and it's totally cool if you want to ask questions about Wild at Heart, or Backbeat, or Wraith, or stuff like that. But, Twin Peaks is good too. Yes, Chris.
Right on, thanks. Mark Frost is one of my favorite writers. A List of 7, I love that book. I was wondering if you'd share any personal anecdotes about Mark Frost, what he's like, and things about the show involving.
I mean, I would start by saying that, a lot of people said, well, they thought because we were saying we wanted David that we didn't want Mark or someday. And that was not the case. But Mark wasn't saying he was out. David was.
Yeah.
Now, if Mark said he was out, we would have rallied for Mark, because
Right.
the show is Mark and David.
Yeah.
And to me, Mark was the rock, the grounding force, he was just, because DK also, he's very expansive and spiritual and meditative, all these things, and Mark is just, he's kind, he's grounded, he's intelligent, he knows how to do, they were like the perfect combination. I don't have a lot of Mark's story.
I know, I was just trying to think. I mean, for me, Mark always also just felt familiar in a way and very welcoming. The two of them together created this environment that was so safe to stretch and play and grow creatively. And they did that together as a team, and they did it phenomenally. So I just, and there, I know he just felt so familiar to me. There was something about him that just immediately made me feel comfortable too.
Thank you.
Hi. Other than Twin Peaks, for each of you, what are your favorite projects that you've done in the past?
Well, it depends if we're talking about my favorite project because of where it was shot, or my favorite project because of the people I was working with or the character that I played. So it's not so simple. I loved doing Backbeat because of, you know, that was a wonderful group of people, and it was like hanging out with a rock group in Europe for that time, and being able to meet Astrid and sit with her and go through the archives of her photography and everything. That was an amazing experience. And then you did a Bible story in Morocco too, didn't you?
Yeah.
Shooting a Bible story in Morocco was pretty phenomenal, right?
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
It's hard. I'd almost have to sit and look at. Sometimes I forget the films I've done. It's so embarrassing to say, but
I can IMDb.
No, you judge your life by, well, that's when I did that one, and then I did that one. And like, you know, my son was there after that one.
Right.
And it's like this
especially
weird
once
thing.
your kid is born, it's more your time, your lineage memory is more about. For me, it's more about my child than about the films. But I've been.
Now, obviously, we loved Twin Peaks because that was a charmed experience, and it was something that did what great work does, which is stands the test of time. You know, that's was the first thing I heard. 17 moving to Michigan, it's got to stand the test of time. Now, meanwhile, I see the pilot, and I'm like, I don't know, this is never going to go. What did I know? I was a kid. I'm like, this, I don't know. Everyone's sleeping with everyone, and you know. And so I had no idea. I had no idea that that was going to happen. And I personally loved doing Of Mice and Men with Gary Sinise, and I felt like now I'm an actress. You know what I mean? I don't know why. I'm doing Of Mice and Men with John Malkovich and Gary Sinise. You know, so that was we were out in a, you know, setting as we were out on a ranch, and I had a house and my dog. It was so cool. And I loved doing the Elizabeth Taylor story, but that was, you know, it kind of almost killed me. It's the only time on a set it had to be shut down. It was just it was a lot, 6-day weeks, and you're trying to hit high points of her life, and you're trying to have all these men that have notes and questions of your husbands, and so it was fun though.
That kind of leads into a question I had too, as
Okay.
far as working with Dave, like before working with David and after working with David. Does it kind of spoil you at all for future directors as far as dealing with someone sort of so organic and you could show up on set one day and not necessarily shoot what you thought you were going to be shooting that day? Did it carry with you in the future project?
David doesn't yell on the set. David is, you know, okay, you all go have a cappuccino. We're going to rewrite the scene, and it's just, you know, but it's true, and it's easy, and it's breezy, and he's not like above the line, below the line, like the bullshit business. Like, I'm director, I'm important. You're an extra. You're not. Anybody, if you see something, and every idea and every person has a story that's valuable. And that's a really cool thing. And then he teaches you, he would always say, you know those dark corners in your mind, Sherilyn, don't be afraid to shine a light on them. Don't be afraid, you know. And he's also kind of weird, abstract in terms of his direction. Like it's true. Like Kimmy said.
I remember.
Like Kimmy said it, he'll like hypnotize you a little bit, and so does his daughter Jen, because they have this I don't know, this creative genius, and they'll just bring you in. And like when I did Wild at Heart, he just kept saying, look for the bobby pins, where's the wallet, where's the wallet. And then how do you play somebody when they're dying and they don't know they're dying, and it was just crazy, but I just kept going, okay, you just trust them. You know, these are really, 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 I like only want to work with David and Jen, but that's not realistic.
Yeah, he has a way to see things in you that you didn't even know were there, and to pull them out. And it does feel like, in a way, it does feel like being hypnotized, because sometimes the direction may not seem logically like it has to do with the scene. But he's taking you to a place, or he's created a mood for you to start the scene from. And he does it effortlessly and brilliantly, and if you just jump off that cliff and surrender to that process, that's where the magic happens. He also, for me, in terms of things that I took with me, I love the way he is present in the moment. He might have his idea of where the day is gonna go, but if anything comes in and changes that, whether it's weather or whether it's the lights broken on
Blinking.
set
Right,
in
it's
the
wrong,
morning,
yeah.
right?
No, leave it.
He doesn't stay attached to his idea of what it's supposed to be when something, it's like he understands that creativity comes from a place that's bigger than all of us, and he stays open to that. And so when you're working in that space, you also get to stay open to that. And you know, it's a very interesting thing then to then go on to another set and say something happens and sort of observe, is there a way to take this into the story? That it's not an accident, it's not a mistake, something may appear to be broken, but it doesn't really mean it's broken. It might actually just be that creative energy trying to communicate with us something about the story. And to really just take the time, because he also does, he takes the time to listen to that. Even though there may be a rushed schedule of the day around him, he really protects his set from feeling the chaos of that.
And I mean, just for the record, I think it has so much to do with transcendental meditation, because it is a way in the world that is so crazy and so outrageous, and we never are going to get the peace that we all crave without finding a place inside, because it ain't out here, it's all crazy. So he has a way of doing that, so that yes, when he walks in a room and the deer's head fell off the wall, he just leave it right there. Okay? It's the trippiest, coolest thing. He has a respect for the moment and whatever is happening. It's nice.
Yeah, it's very exciting. It keeps it so alive, the story.
Well, if not for that, I guess Frank Silva might have never been Bob as well. If he
That's
hadn't just
right.
appeared in the background on that one, you know.
And you know what's really weird about that? Someone said to me, I realized on the pilot, and I'm doing it in the coffee cup, and then she says, okay, Bob, and it wasn't written, but I said, okay, Bob, okay, Bob. So, and it was like, that's kind of weird. I don't know, maybe it means something.
Yeah, it's kind of off the Twin Peaks, but well, first of all, you're saying about the show being like one of those things that stand the test of time. I think you guys have stand the test of time. You guys just look great, like look really beautiful.
Deepest, incredible women I know, and she wrote it at 19. Who writes that at 19? It was really hard work, but I read the script, I threw it across the room, I got really angry, and then I knew I had to do it. I don't know, if it scares you that much, like I knew I understood her when she got more vulnerable, but in the beginning, she like scared me. I'm like, God, she's such a bitch, you know? She's so angry about everything, and but my teacher said, oh, and you don't think that you have that, you know? He goes, let's start working. So, I loved doing it. It was amazing. I'd be in my box and be emotional scene. Jen and I would just come over and we just lean our heads together and connect. It's really a gift when you get to work with people that have a story, that have the courage to grow while they're doing it, not tell a story that they already know the answer to. And you have actors that are like just exploring stuff and illuminating everyone's human struggle, because that's what it is, I think. When it's really good work, it's like, wow, that happened to me, or I know that here. Not that feeling when everyone gets at the same time, whatever this person's doing, and it's boring, but when it's really personal. Because that's what David's work is super, super personal. Like he'll say, you know, his most spiritual film was Eraserhead, and if you ask him why, he won't tell you. Just like, that's mine, I'm not telling you why, you know, but that was, so. And The Elephant Man, which like, who can even watch that movie without just like sobbing through the whole thing? It's so fantastic.
Oh, I should also mention, in addition to I for questions, generally the weirdest question gets a prize. And today, also to plug the book, if you haven't read Reflections, an Oral History of Twin Peaks, super good book. Both of these ladies are in it as well, by Brad Dukes. So whoever has the weirdest question by the end of the day, you get a copy of that. Yes, sir.
North Bend Snoqualmie, to me, and I go every year for the festival, and I make several pilgrimages throughout the year. There's a palpable feeling there, like it's a character in the show. And like, for me as a fan, it's so important to go back to that place. Do you know?
We're shooting there,
You are, okay.
100%.
Oh my God.
They're redoing the R&R diner to look exactly like it did in the show. And then the owners of the diner are going to keep it that way. He has to do something to the, remember what was it, the police station, the sheriff's station got built bigger, so he has to find a way to, but yeah, he's already been here. Absolutely. There's a spirit here, there's an energy here, it's powerful and.
Yeah.
Have them put autographed pictures in the diner when they're done.
Oh, that would be cool.
Please,
That'd be
please.
great. That's a great idea.
Please.
Yeah. Okay.
All the way in the back there. Yes, you sir. That sir. The sir on the right.
Sheryl, yeah, great meeting you. Thanks for coming to town again. I have a question for Sheryl Lee about your photograph, the prom photo. There's a lot of iconic imagery throughout Twin Peaks, from owls and donuts and Black Dot Floor. What can you tell us about your photo shoot for the prom scene photo? And where's that tiara now? And before the shooting starts, what were you feeling about getting started?
Well, just to clarify, that was shot specifically for Twin Peaks. It was not
Of course.
a photograph, but there's been apparently
rumor
some
is-
confusion that it was
That was
my
Yeah.
actual,
I always assumed that it was your homecoming, that you were homecoming. That's what I always would.
not even close.
But you are two of the most iconic images in the show. Portraits being the girl in plastic and the prom photo. Out of all the imagery, I mean, your face is two of the biggest.
Well, I think that's the, you know, I mean, look, we all can relate to the prom queen photo. It's like the way that they shot it too. It looks like it was it was shot just like those prom queen photos are shot. So they had that very, you know, the way that David works, he hires so many amazing artists around him in every department too that understand his vision, right? And so he knows specifically down to the shade of lipstick that the girls are wearing what he has in his mind, right? And so like the dead picture, he was literally placing the sand grains himself on my forehead and making the plastic, you know, look a certain way. So he knows in his mind what, it's like he's painting a painting, what it should look like.